Hey there, it's Olivia-Savannah here from Olivia's Catastrophe, and today I'm here to give you a not so recently read reads. So these are 6 books that I have read in December. They are all Christmas books and I read these in December 2024, but I'm saving this video until November 2025 so you can get these recommendations right when you'd be looking for Christmassy books to read and to see my reviews and thoughts at that time, because it just feels a bit more appropriate. So I've got 6 books here to talk about, and let's get right down to the books. I'll have content warnings in the description box down below in case that's something you need. Without further ado, let's get down to some Christmassy books. So the very first Christmassy book I am very happy about, and that is Christmasaurus Carol by Tom Fletcher, illustrated by Shane DeVries. Now this is a middle grade series of Christmasaurus books, and I have read each and every single one of them, and I've had a really good time reading this series. As far as I know, this is the 4th and final book in the middle grade series. There are also picture book series as well, and in this one you are following the Trundles, which are the family that we tend to follow, and they read a book which is A Christmas Carol, and Scrooge gets out of the book, and so Scrooge is trying to Scroogify Christmas and ruin it, and it's down to Santa, Christmasaurus and the Trundles to save the day alongside some friends. It's just so much fun. Each and every single book in this series is pure enjoyable fun. I absolutely love the creativity that Tom Fletcher puts in these, because he takes some of the elements of Christmas that you know very well and he does a little riff on them to make them something more magical, to make them something more unique, and that's just fun. I think if kids read this, they would just be having such a good time getting to see the little additions that Tom Fletcher has made with Christmas and magic. My nephew is a big fan of dinosaurs, and I can just imagine him eating up a book about Christmasaurus. The Christmasaurus features in every single book, and he's just good fun to be around. I really love the Trundle family. I think they always have something that you can learn in this. This one, it's about being honest and being confident and not having to be the best at everything, and there's nothing wrong with being a supporting role in a group project. And I really like that we have William Trundle, who's our main character, and he's a wheelchair user. I always think the wheelchair representation in this series is done so well. It's very smooth. It's not about the fact that William Trundle is in a wheelchair. The first one is a little bit more about that, but since the first one, the second, third and fourth are just having a character who's a wheelchair user as the main lead, and they don't forget that he needs things like ramps and other aids in the book. So I think the representation is just really smoothly added in and very normalized, which is also really lovely to see. And there are songs in this. There are Christmas songs, and when you sing them out loud, I always sing them out loud even though I'm reading to myself, they are good fun. They are written in tune and they're just a nice addition to the story. So if you were reading this with a child, I imagine it can be very interactive and fun, and I'm sure the audiobook probably has someone singing them, so that would make it even better. But yes, A Christmasaurus Carol was another win from me. I love this series with my whole heart. Definitely one of my favorite Christmas books to read around this period in time. Then we have Love in Winter Wonderland by Abiola Bello. I read Only for the Holidays the Christmas before I read this one, and that was a 5-star and I absolutely loved it. Love in Winter Wonderland wasn't quite the same for me, but I still had a good enough time. But the reason I had a good enough time did not have to do with the romance. So these are young adult romance books, and this one follows Ariel and Trey. Yes, so Trey is the popular kid at school. He's got a girlfriend, they are the it couple, and his family runs a black owned bookshop where they promote predominantly black authors, but all authors as well. And their bookshop is in trouble. It's struggling financially, and when everything goes wrong right before Christmas, the mum sets an ultimatum: if we can make X amount by Christmas, we can keep the bookshop, but if we can't, we have to sell it. And then you've got Ariel, who's this art student. She's grieving for her father who has passed away, and she is just living with her mum, and she really wants some money so that she can go to scholarship school, but she needs money to be able to do that art program. So she wants to get a job, and she ends up working at the bookshop through a series of events. Now, my main struggle with this, I'm going to start with the struggles. My main struggle with this is the fact that the romance that we're supposed to be supporting is between Trey and Ariel, but Trey has a girlfriend who is not Ariel, and he is with that girlfriend for 95% of this book. Most of this book, he is not free to date. and they don't cheat, but there is a level of, it feels like emotional cheating, but I do understand it's also teenagers kind of working out how they feel and what they really want to do with those feelings. So in some ways I understand the fact that he's still with his girlfriend for so long, but as a reader I just can't enjoy the romantic element, because I struggle to ship a romance between people when he is with someone else for the whole time, and instead that changes things. So I'm not supposed to be shipping a romance, I'm supposed to be shipping the downfall of this other relationship. I'm supposed to be supporting a breakup happening, which, to be fair, they're not a great couple, they're a terrible couple. I support the idea of them breaking up, but I just don't find that fun. Like, it's not the fun, light-hearted Christmassy read that I want when I'm supposed to be rooting for a breakup throughout the whole book. And so instead I'm just reading about this couple who are horrible to each other. And I do think that Trey as well is not the nicest love interest. I really struggled with his character. I think he took his friends for granted in this one, and I don't think he did enough apologising to his best friend, Boogs, who is great. I don't think he did enough apologising to Boogs as he should have done, or said thank you enough to Boogs for everything that Boogs was doing for him. I just think he was really ungrateful. I didn't actually really like the way that he treated his girlfriend. I didn't like the way the girlfriend treated him. I didn't like the way the girlfriend treated Ariel. Who was I supposed to like in this book? I really enjoyed Boogs, who is Trey's best friend, and I really liked Santi, who is the girlfriend's twin sister, and I kind of wish this whole book had been about them and their relationship. I would have enjoyed that much more. Ariel is a very nice character to follow, and I was here for her. She's working through grieving through her father, and the way that she just wants to help the community. She does so much, and I really appreciate that. I just think she also deserved better than she got in terms of love interest. So I really had some really mixed feelings, but ultimately what I did enjoy in this one is the Winter Wonderland setting, which is the bookshop. I really liked seeing a black owned bookshop. I really liked seeing how the community kind of corralled together and came together to support this business. I think it had a lot of heartwarming feels in terms of the fact of trying to save a small business, and it showed that very well, and the outpouring of love for a black business was just really lovely to see. But in terms of everything else, that didn't quite save the book for me. So in the end I ended up feeling a bit of a mixed bag about this one. I'm not really sure I would read it again. But I really did love Only for the Holidays, so I will be reading more Abiola, Bello in the future. I just hope it's a book where I can root for the romance a lot more than I could in this one in particular. I read another Christmas middle grade. I think Christmas middle grades is one of my favourite age audiences to read Christmas books in, and I read Juniper's Christmas by Eoin Colfer. I've read Eoin Colfer before. I absolutely love the Artemis Fowl. It's one of my favourite series of all time, and so I was excited to see what he could do with a Christmas book, and this didn't quite land for me. So this one has a lot of Eoin Colfer's usual environmental tidbits and about, you know, feminism and making the environment a better place, but it's also about Santa, who doesn't, or I should say Saint Nick in this case, who doesn't really want to be Saint Nick anymore. In fact, he hasn't been Saint Nick for the past 9 years, and if nobody takes a present out of the sack for 10 years, it means that Christmas is officially killed and done with. So we have a reluctant Saint Nick, and then you have Juniper, who is this child whose mum goes missing. When her mum goes missing, she kind of employs the help of the mysterious man who supports the homeless people in the community, who happens to be Saint Nick. So the story goes from there, and there is magic involved. There are flying reindeer and all of the usual Christmassy elements, but to me this actually felt really un-Christmassy. It was very sad for a middle grade book, and it just didn't give me the festive feeling again that I'm looking for around Christmas time. And there's nothing wrong with a sad Christmas book, I just did not expect it from this cover, from this plot line, and so it really took me by surprise. What makes it so sad is the fact that Saint Nick lost his wife, and he lost her because he was working too hard doing Christmas, which is why he quit and why he hates it. But it means that a lot of this book is about him grieving and how that grief has destroyed his happiness around Christmas, and he is a very reluctant Santa. It's not like, oh, I don't want to do it, and then he does it. He really does not want to go back to it, and it just feels like his hand is being forced. It feels like he really does not want to be doing the job that he's doing, and that is not within the Christmas spirit either. A lot of this also, because it's about grief, because it's about dying, actually has someone in it who is very ill and is in the process of dying throughout this book, and that drags. I hate to say it, but it drags. She is dying for quite a long time. It's really painful to watch, read about. So that again also did not fill me with Christmas cheer. Juniper as a character is really lovely, she's very intelligent, she really wants to do the best by people, and she wants to bring Christmas back. So she was kind of a bit of a highlight here, and there is some creativity elements and some magical elements which were nice, and I really like the messages and themes. A lot of this is about giving around Christmas time, and it switches the focus from like the magic of Christmas and Christmas presents and family time at Christmas to, you know, supporting people, supporting homeless people through Christmas. And I did really like, I just think Eoin Colfer does that very well. The really nice messaging that he weaves into the story. I really like how it focused on particularly homelessness around winter periods and Christmas, but also the environment and how you can have a bit more of an environmental acceptable Christmas, like don't wrap your presents and things like that, and it's woven in a very natural way where it doesn't feel like it's hitting children over the head with those messages. So again, this was a bit of a mixed bag because there were some elements of it that I liked, but it just did not bring me the Christmas cheer that I was looking for. And then I read 3 Sarah Simone Christmas books and they're not purely Sarah Simone, they're Sarah Simone and Julie Murphy. So the first one I read was A Merry Little Meet Cute by Sarah Simone and Julie Murphy. This is a steamy Christmas romance, and it is about 2 characters. One is Nolan Shaw. He used to be a pop star, but he's had a fall from grace, and so he's doing this Hallmark Christmas film to scrub his image clean and start again. He also really needs the money because his mother is unwell, and it's going towards the finances for supporting his mother. And then you've also got B. So B is someone who is a porn star. She works in the porn industry. She has a very successful OnlyFans, but she really wants to do acting, and she kind of gave it up because she is fat and people said she would never make it, and there were only certain roles she was being put forward to. And the person who is making this Hallmark film is also the one who secretly runs a porn star film industry, and he accidentally shows a casting call sheet of Bianca for a porn star film when talking to the Christmas Hallmark people, and they say, we want her. So the porn star is also like the co-star in the film where the pop star is trying to scrub his image clean, so you can see how that's not quite working, and then they have a bit of a romance along the way as well. So I really love this. It's full of the typical things that I tend to enjoy in Sarah Simone. So what you do have is these 2 characters who shouldn't be together for the reasons that I described in the plot, but who inevitably end up falling for each other. And Sarah Simone and Julie Murphy set you up to think this is what the plot's going to be, and then things escalate much faster than that, so it ends up being a plot that's slightly unexpected even for a rom-com, which is something that I really like out of Sarah Simone doing, and I see her do it consistently, and I really like to see it again here. I also just loved the setting of Christmas Notch, which is the place where they are filming. It's a highly Christmasified little small town in the middle of nowhere where everything is Christmas themed, and that gave me the festive feels that I was looking for, because everything just felt so Christmassy and snowy and wonderful in a slightly steamy way, and that it warmed my heart. It made me laugh. This book made me laugh so many times because of the situational humour, but also the plot is so outrageous, you know, this would never really happen, and this book knows that this would never really happen, so it manages to bring some of the jokes and laughter and enjoyability to the stretching of your imagination that you've got to do. So that was good fun. I do like Noah and B as characters. I liked their families, who we get to see bits and pieces of. I think they were nice. The supporting cast of their friends, I really liked getting to see a bit more of them. Ultimately, I just think this book was cute. I had a good time. I don't really have that much more to say. In terms of steamy levels, this is much steamier than any Julie Murphy book. If you've read Julie Murphy before, you know she predominantly does YA and romance that does not have steamy scenes in it. This is her first time writing steaminess. So if you're a Julie Murphy fan, this is going to be a lot steamier than you're used to. If you're a Sarah Simone fan, this is a lot tamer than anything Sarah Simone usually writes. While it does have steamy scenes in there, it's actually not that steamy for what they're doing when someone is a porn star, you know? And somebody else has had multiple threesomes. It's quite tame in that regard. So it's a good time, it's a fun time. I will definitely be continuing the series. In fact, I started to continue the series, so I'll tell you about the next books. So the next one I read is actually a short story that is a bonus scene for this one, which is called A Not So Silent Night by Sarah Simone and Julie Murphy. This one is just like an extra epilogue about what happens after the events of A Merry Little Meet Cute. So what I would recommend is that you just read this short story, which is free on Sarah Simone's website, directly after you finish the book. Just read it straight away afterwards. It feels like an extra epilogue. It's basically a steamy scene that's much steamier than anything you get in the book, and then a bit of a little romantic scene that has no steam in it, but is also a nice, neat little bow on what you see in this book. So there's not really much to say on that. I just read it because it was free and it's a bonus. And then I continued on to reading Snow Place Like LA by Julie Murphy and Sarah Simone, and this is a novella that's set within the same Christmas notch world, and while it's not book 2, it's kind of book 1.5, and it follows Luca. Luca is one of the friends of B in the first book, and he is gay and he's pining over Angel, who he had a little thing with in book 1 on the side, but it doesn't go beyond that, and so it's about what happens when him and Angel meet again after they've had a little period of time where they were really, you know, getting it on, and then they just flew away from each other and haven't spoken since. I really love this. I in fact love this more than A Merry Little Meet Cute. It is a novella. It's under 200 pages, and so everything's quite escalated. Everything has to move quite fast in the nature of it being a novella, so do be prepared for that. But what I really liked about this is because Luca is so me. Luca is so me in so many ways. The ways in which he will try and do anything to avoid confrontation, even something quite hilarious, which you'll find out if you read this novella. The ways in which he doesn't want to admit when he is wrong sometimes, and also that he's like, he doesn't want to let himself have certain things because he doesn't think he deserves them, and all of that is very Aquarius behavior. I don't typically subscribe to being an Aquarius. I think I fit more of the INFJ personality, but Luca is a typical grade A Aquarius with a capital A, and so if you are looking for books for Aquarius people to read, this is exactly that, because that is Luca's behavior. But I also really liked Angel as a character. He is someone who struggles with vulnerability, but you can see him be vulnerable again and again and again, and I really liked how through their relationship you really learn how much vulnerability you need to express and to give to be able to fall in love sometimes, and how hard that can be for different people for different reasons. I really ship Luke and Angel together. I think they're a great couple. There's 1 or 2 steamy scenes. They are not, again, Sarah Simone level of steamy, but they are a little bit steamier than what you get in A Merry Little Meet Cute, and it ended really nicely. I have no complaints about this book other than I wish it was a full-length novel, because I would have read that. It made me laugh, it made me smile, and it was also the perfect wintry read. More wintry than Christmassy, but it still fit into the series very nicely. And that is it for what I read that was specifically Christmas themed in December. I am sincerely hoping that I will get to read more of the Christmasaurus picture books and also continue the Merry Little Meet Cute series next year, and find some more Christmassy reads this year for me to really enjoy. Please let me know in the comment section down below, do you read holiday themed books? Do you read Christmassy books? Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more, and don't you forget to hit that notification bell to be updated every time I have a new video. And you know what they say, onwards and upwards. Excelsior!